So today we're going to be looking at the Lime Crime Unicorn hair in the color Pony. This, as you can tell, is a purple dye, but it's not going to be as dark as maybe the Purple Rain from Arctic Fox, but it's not a super light dye either, so I'm really excited to try this one out. So I have hair swatches labeled 1 through 12. Those are not synonymous with hair levels. They're just to keep track of the swatches throughout the video. 1 through 3 are more unnatural colors with green, pink, and red. And then the number 4 swatch is supposed to be like a natural redhead. And then we have black all the way up to platinum blonde. And then we have like a toned version of the platinum blonde. What I like to do is I'll take the dye directly from the package and I'll put it at the top of each swatch. In the center, I will dilute the dye a little bit, and then on the ends I'll dilute the dye even more. And then since each dye is different, I'll let you know the measurements as I go. Purple hair dyes kind of freak me out because sometimes they stain really badly. So I'll let you know how this one goes. Since this dye doesn't seem to be a super dark dye, for the center we're just going to do 1/4 of a teaspoon of the dye with 1/2 teaspoon of diluter. And then for the ends, we're going to stay with 1/4 of a teaspoon of the dye, but now we're going to do 1 teaspoon of diluter. And just so you know, I like to use conditioner for my diluter. Now that everything is nice and saturated, I'm going to let them sit for an hour. I'll rinse them out and then I'll meet you back here. So the first thing I want to say is I'm a little bit confused because the dye does wonderful on these swatches, and even on the number 8 it looks really good, and you can see it on 7 and 6. But for some reason 9 and 10 they don't look that good. I don't know if it's the undertones in the hair, but I just feel like they don't look as vibrant, because even the number 8, it's a darker swatch, but it still looks like a nice vibrant purple. So I would say either have your hair darker or very, very light. The in-between, it'll still dye obviously, just doesn't seem as saturated looking. In the light that we're in now, like the unnatural lighting, you can see it on number 6 and 7, but it is pretty subtle, especially on number 6. But just looking at it, I can tell that in the sunlight it's probably going to be very pretty. And it didn't really seem to do anything on the number 3 red swatch. So out of the purple dyes that I've done already, I would say it does look kind of similar to Purple Rain from Arctic Fox. So this swatch is going to be the Arctic Fox one, and it's equivalent to number 12. It has a more cool tone look compared to the Lime Crime one, but the Arctic Fox one is still not as cool as the Purple Haze from Manic Panic. Once again, this is the Arctic Fox Purple Rain, and this swatch is comparable to number 9. So it still looks more warm. The lime crime looks more warm than the Arctic Fox. And this might be a little bit hard to tell, but this is the Arctic Fox comparable to number 7, and this is the Arctic Fox comparable to number 6. As with the other swatches, the lime crime does still pull a little bit more warmth compared to the Arctic Fox. And then I'm just going to lay the Arctic Fox swatch across the lighter ones just so you can kind of see the difference. This is the Arctic Fox swatch that's comparable to the number 4. I'm sure when we get to the sunlight, you will be able to see more of the purple in the red hair. Okay, so now that we've compared swatches and we've got to look at them next to each other, let's get into the close-ups. I just want to thank you so much for watching. If you are interested in supporting my channel, I did start a Patreon, and I'll put that link in the description if you're curious about it. I also have a die schedule linked in the comments as well if you're curious about my upcoming videos. The schedule is there in case you want to look at it. Thank you again, and I hope to see you in my next video. I can hear it.